.330 to go. How are we feeling this morning? April 25th, and it is Thursday. And in my best Chris Berman voice, if anybody's ever seen the beginning of draft day, when he's like, "It's draft day." Why am I not excited? Why? Why? I think there's about 300 million reasons why, and he's the quarterback of my Browns, of why I don't have a first round pick. There's a good reason why I don't have my first round pick, because I've got the quarterback of the future, right? I told you guys, I'm buying into it. I'm buying into Deshaun Watson is my quarterback, and I'm trying not to be negative, and I'm going to be nothing but positive. But because of him, I don't have a first round pick tonight. And normally, if you were a Cleveland Browns fan, which I'm assuming most of us are because we're in that local region, draft day was like the Super Bowl. Okay, like you would have a party. Like I remember going to draft parties nonstop. We were excited. Who are we going to take? Who are we going to screw up? Whose career are we going to ruin? We're going to talk a lot of that a little bit here later in the show. Right off the rip, as always, we're going to talk a little high school sports. Clicking through the bottom right there, CVCA beats out Manchester 16-3. Green loses to Hoover 6-1. Tuslaw beats Orville 5-4. Medina-Christian edges out Coventry 4-2. Carrollton beats West Branch 4-3. Medina beats Brunswick 2-1 in a real close one. And Canton South beats Fairless 4-0. On the softball side of things, the Manchester ladies beat CVCA 22-2. Alliance 20 McKinley's 5. Canton Central Catholic beats Hoban 4-3. Louisville 5-4 winner over Canfield. Chippewa an 11-1 winner over Smithville. And Dalton edges out Norwayne 5-4. On the lacrosse side of things, that other sport that's going on, Canton Central Catholic beats Holy Name 17-7. Wooster 9 to University's 8. Walsh beats Hoban 10-7. Highland edges out Brecksville Broadview 9-8, and CVCA beats Louisville 14-1. On the girls' side of the lacrosse scores, Hoban beats crosstown rivals St. Vincent St. Mary 14-11. Canfield beats Louisville 9-1. GlenOak an 8-1 winner over Poland. Revere beats Wadsworth 13-4, and Hoover beats CVCA 14-0. A lot of NBA scores running across there as well from Tuesday night and Wednesday games last night. Absolutely crazy there in the NBA. We'll get to that in a second. Let's talk some Major League Baseball. The Guards did not do well last night. They did not. It just did not work out for them. A rough go. 8-0 losers last night. Not a huge fan of the Guardians, but they will be back on the bump this morning, or this afternoon, I believe. What time was that game going off this afternoon? Where is my scores? Why am I not seeing them? I think it was like a 6:10 start, and Mackenzie is on the bump, 2-2. So Cardinals beat the Diamondbacks 5-1. The Mets beat the Giants 8-2. Francisco Lindor, remember that name? No, if you haven't, well, you're going to hear it again right now. So he had 2 home runs yesterday to help them end a 3-game skid for the Mets as they beat the Giants. The Orioles are a 6-5 winner over the Angels. Mike Trout is the first player in Major League Baseball this year, just this year, to get to 10 home runs. So I'm sure that'll be back and forth, but Trout always a dominant force in the home run category as well. Like I said, the Red Sox beat the Guardians 8-0. Connor Wong. Yeah. Thanks a lot, bud. Yeah, he homers twice. He helps them crush us 8-0. Let's just not even talk about it. Let's just move on, because the Guardians, right? So Brewers beat the Pirates 3-2. Reds beat the Phillies 7-4. The Dodgers beat up on the Nationals 11-2. Ohtani has 3 doubles on the day, and that can easily help you score a lot of runs when you have your quality players hitting gap shots and picking up doubles and triples. That's always going to move you around the bases, and the guys that were on the base as well. Rays 7-5 winner over the Tigers. Yankees beat the A's 7-3. Braves get the Marlins in 10 innings. 4-3 behind a Michael Harris. He hits an RBI double in the 10th, and that helps catapult them through. The Royals beat the Blue Jays 3-2. Twins 6-3 winner over the White Sox. Castro homers on his birthday. So apparently it was Castro's birthday for the Twins, and he hits a home run. So happy birthday. Get you a home run. All right. That's the baseball gods smiling down on you on your birthday. So Cubs beat the Astros 4-3. Swanson, that is the new guy over in with the Cubs. Homers to beat the Astros. The Rangers 5-1 winners over the Mariners, and the last one was the Padres, a 5-2 winner over the Rockies. Xander Bogart has a season high 3 hits, and that wraps up your baseball. Oh, hey, here we go. I'm sorry. Mike Dixon, as the boys coach at Canton Central. Thanks for covering lacrosse. Absolutely, Mike. Mike, love to have you on the show. Are you out there, bud? Reach out to me. Let's get an interview. Let's talk some lacrosse. I'm all about it. I absolutely. My son played lacrosse 3 years. Was it 2 or 3 years ago? I can't remember. Wasn't a baseball player, so he decided to play some lacrosse. I absolutely thought that sport was awesome. Myself growing up, I was a baseball player growing up, so I wouldn't have played lacrosse, but I don't know. I shouldn't have said I wouldn't have. If it would have been around and more dominant as it is now, I wonder what that would have looked like. But I think it's an absolutely fun game to watch. Super exciting. And Coach, congratulations. That was a big win there over Holy Name. You guys beat up on them pretty good, 17-7. So congrats to you, Coach. Shoot me a message. Would love to have you on if you're interested in taking an interview and talking some lacrosse. Just let's enlighten. Let's bring a spotlight to it. All right. What else we want to bring a spotlight to is the Cleveland Cavaliers. Let's talk about them now, because here in a few hours, we're not going to be able to watch them. Let's not even go down that rant. There it is right there. Guys, if you didn't go back and see that, Moon Man did a phenomenal job of coming up with that last clip. It's a little, I didn't realize I ran my mouth for 10 minutes. There's no way I ran my mouth for 10 minutes. I must have. And yeah, you see it. And go watch the video. It was great. I thought that Moon Man did a phenomenal job, added some stuff in there. Super fun, super exciting. So if you haven't, go watch it. On the NBA side of things, Cavs, like I said, we're not going to be able to watch them tonight, but also in the scores going around from Tuesday night, we had Minnesota beating the Suns 105-93. That series is not going any way, shape, or form that I thought. I really thought the Suns were going to be able to possibly make that a series. We're going to find out when they play coming up here in the next day. So they got to get that series back to 2-1. Indy matches everything up with a 125 whooping over the Milwaukee Bucks' 108. So that series is now tied 1-1. It's nice to see, as I kind of mentioned on that last show, Indiana kind of maybe thought they were not in the playoffs, and they decided that they were in the playoffs in the second half of that first game, showed some positive things, rolled that over into game 2 and pick up a big win. The Mavericks, a 96-93 winner over the Clippers, and the Mavs themselves have realized they're in the playoffs and decided to match that series back up at 1-1. Last night, Miami Heat, 23 franchise record 3-pointers dropped through the hole, and they beat the Celtics. I don't think anybody really thought that would be a series, definitely after Jimmy Butler got hurt. But Tyler Hero throws down 24. Bam Adebayo chips in 21, and Caleb Martin. I don't know if you guys remember that name from a few years ago in the NCAA tournament. If you didn't, go back and watch. It was a special talent there when he had the NCAA run. He threw in 21 as well, as the Heat beat the Celtics 1-1. Wow. Like, here we go. So that's the team. Every year, the Miami Heat, for some way, somehow make a playoff run, and you just don't know why. They're just built pretty special. Hang on for a second. Oh, no, I didn't. Okay, hang on. I'm sorry. I apologize. Did we have somebody jump on? Oh, I guess we did. No, I didn't. Oh, hey, what's going on, man?
What do you mean your rant is over? What do you mean your rant? Dude,
it's over.
It's a freaking playoff game and nobody can watch it. What are you talking about?
Oh, I bet you're watching. I can only have so much anger. It's draft night.
I got Bally's. I got cable. But hey, you can't even a Browns game. You can't even not watch a Browns game. Every single Browns game is is local on Channel
Yeah.
19. Every one
Yeah.
of them. You're
Yeah.
not writing enough, man. You're not, Matt. You need to be going bonkers.
She is. Yeah,
Bonkers.
apparently so. I don't know if I have that much energy.
It's
It's
a
draft
freaking
day.
playoff game, and you can't even watch it.
It's a boring series. Let's call it what it is.
What are we doing here? What
I
are
don't
we
know.
doing?
I don't know why we're even. I don't even know why the Magic are in the playoffs.
But you're not rant more. Rant more.
Why?
Rant more. Rant more.
No. Who do you got?
More.
Dynamite drop in money.
Rant more. He just yells and screams and runs off. Rant more. No, I can't. I did. And it was
Broadcast school has really paid off.
Dynamite drop in there, wasn't it? Dynamite drop in. Does anybody remember that? That was one of the little voice clips that just played.
Dynamite drop in money.
Yes, it was a dynamite drop in. I guess I should be more upset. I'm over it. Tuesday was it. There was a 10-minute video of me ranting. Go play that again. Okay. Nobody wants to hear me nonstop barking about it because you know what? Everyone's probably already figured it out. I actually messaged one of my buddies. He messaged me and said, it was a good rant you had. And I asked him, did you get to watch it? And he's like, no. And I'm like, how are you going to be able to watch it on Thursday? And he's like, I don't know. I'm thinking about wearing like a black hoodie and just creeping through my neighbors' yards and looking through the windows. Don't suggest anybody doing that, but it kind of made me giggle or laugh because what alternative do you have? I guess you could go to a bar, maybe a local watering tavern. I'm just not into that. I'd rather sit around and watch it. And on top of it too, it's just blah, serious. And it made me start thinking about it because I mentioned it on Tuesday. They do this every year with one series. It just seems to get outcasted over to Gilligan's Island of networking. And nobody can see it. I mean, in the years past, it always seemed like it was the Atlanta Hawks. Nobody ever realized, like, oh, they're in the playoffs. No, we didn't see them because they don't show them. Right now, the high prolific names of certain cities that are in the playoffs, they want to highlight them. Plus the players, like nobody's getting behind Banchero, behind down in Orlando, even though he's a really good athlete out of Duke. But even Cleveland themselves, like, when's Darius Garland just going to be a dog? Just in and out a dog. Like, I think I'm still waiting for him to be Kyrie. It's not going to happen. Mitchell, awesome. This is great. It'll be cool to make a playoff run with him. He's gone. We're losing him too. And then we're just going to be back here and we're waiting on guys like Mobley and Garland. And I don't know if Okoro would be here. They could use him as a piece part if somehow they got Mitchell to stick around to trade him out. But at the end of the day, we don't have this star-studded superstar, and Donovan Mitchell was on that, making that case. He was an MVP runner at one point, and then he gets injured, and then the Cavs fall to the wayside, and here we are. We're stuck on NBA TV, which there's nothing wrong with that if you were able to watch it. You're not going to be able to watch it. So, guys, here you go. See, all he did was just put a quarter in the merry-go-round and got me all fired up again. Done. Moving on. All right. Why am I not worried about watching the Cavs? You got it. Browns, the Browns. It's football season. Now we get to talk. See, I even put this on, a little dog check. Okay. You know, this is me getting in my NFL draft excitement. So it got me thinking, worst draft picks of all times. Worst draft picks of all times. Since 99. I don't want to go all the way back. Let's not bring up the linebacker from Duke that everyone gets mad about that Marty Schottenheimer drafted for his prevent defense. Since 1999. Has to be players from there it is, Mike Junkin. Instantly. Knew that was coming. Why does everybody want to go to that? 1999 to current. Okay, let's stay out of all that other era. Okay, we're not going back to Municipal Stadium. We're going to stay present. Okay, because all that could lead to a whole rabbit hole of, is it the Ravens and Marty? You know, I don't even want to go down that with Modell. Let's not do it. So here is mine. I'm just going to put the picture up. We're going to go side by side. We're going to talk through these guys. Oh, no, these are my best. Oh, that wouldn't that have been something if that was the worst? See, I already got ahead of myself. The worst, right there at the top, Mr. Money Signs, okay? The worst. I was out at a bar because draft party. We were so excited for that draft, right? And what do we end up doing? We draft this jamoke, Okay. This guy, okay, he decides to text our GM and says, come get me and let's wreck the league. Yeah, you did wreck the league, Johnny. Now, I've seen some of his documentaries and some of his stuff since. It appears he's trying to turn his life around in that sense, and he's learned from some of the things that he did. But this guy didn't even look at a playbook. Who is the draft people? I want to know who goes out and makes these decisions to say, yeah, I see it. There's some kind of talent in this guy. No, there was none. Okay, really phenomenal. So exciting to watch in college. Absolutely so exciting to watch in college. Not going to lie, bought into it. NFL is a different animal, okay? The only guy that ever really thought at quarterback that was this short that was impressive was Drew Brees, okay? But Drew Brees had the ability to move the pocket. Johnny Manziel, okay? Johnny Manziel wanted to get outside the pocket and create on his own, essentially playing backyard football. That's why, number one, the worst pick in Browns history. Number two, okay, Doug Flutie. Okay, Joe, I see what you're saying maybe about Doug Flutie, but I don't know. He was great at Boston College too as well. I get you. Well, no, Schwartz is not. I have Coleman up there. Yes, I do have Coleman up there. Corey Coleman's coming. Second worst pick ever. Could it be the exact same draft? Yeah, it is. It's called Justin Gilbert. That's why, by far, 2014 is the worst draft year we ever had. Talk about excited for nothing. We're sitting there like, oh, what are we going to do? We take Justin Gilbert. Who? Oh, yeah, he's from Oklahoma State. Oh, or Oregon State, whichever one of the two. Bum. Okay. Brandon Weeden. Absolutely Brandon Weeden's number 3. You want to know what the best story about Brandon Weeden getting drafted was? The guy they gave the card to apparently tripped running up the stairs. There's only a couple of times I've ever run out of pure excitement. And the other one was probably when I was younger and my mom was yelling at me and I was trying to get up the flight of stairs before I caught one. Okay, because I probably ran my mouth and said something. So why was this guy running up a flight of steps? Because he's excited to go say Brandon Weeden's name? What did you think? The team behind you was going to potentially call his name out and you better hurry up and get there? Yeah, nobody was calling out a 29-year-old freshman out of college, okay? Like, it just didn't work for Brandon Weeden, okay? Just did not work for Brandon Weeden. All right. Number 4 on the list, Corey Coleman. Talk about excited for nothing. The reason this guy was hyped, this is right around the exact same time as the RG3 coming out of Baylor. So when you have an exciting player like RG3 throwing to these receivers, and another one was, I believe, Josh Gordon, you start thinking about the idea that this guy's going to be good. Well, guess what? Corey Coleman wasn't. Okay. Corey Coleman came in and had some significant early drops in just preseason, and it just never shook. It never shook off this guy. And my last one, Trent Richardson, because at this time, everyone knew right around that you don't draft a running back in the top 5. You just don't. Okay. It was not a good idea. The only saving grace why he almost didn't make it on my list was when we traded him to the Colts. Man, did we fleece them. Okay. They had no idea. They gave us picks back for him. Trent Richardson just was not working. That's when that whole conversation came out on Saban about, does he just suck all the talent out of his players in college? And so when they get to the NFL, that ceiling's not even there. They're already at the floor, and the glass floor is falling out because he's taken all the talent from them at Bama. But I think people in Cleveland were just excited because we really hadn't had anything in a long time. I mean, you go back, who was your running backs in Cleveland that we were supposed to be excited? William Green? William Green could have been on this list. William Green could have totally been on this list. So as I'm going through looking at all these potential, who would be my 5, that's my 5. That could be, it doesn't mean it has to be. I guarantee you 2 of those guys are on everybody's 5. Okay. You can pick which ones you want. I think Manziel would be a consensus top 5 worst pick for Cleveland Browns since 99 on everybody's list. But as I'm going through, I started looking at and saying, how well have we been drafting? Okay. In the very beginning of the years with our drafting, people were knocking players and we just did not have systems in place. We had a really spotty front office. GMs was like a carousel. We'd fire a GM, they'd hire a coach. We'd fire the GM, the new GM would come in, fire that coach, and then they would hire their coach. And then it was ridiculous of what we had to put up with as Cleveland fans. That's why it's, the mistake on the lake, everything started just domino affecting. But like 2014 has to be the worst draft. Okay. And out of that 2014 draft, let me grab this paper because I want to make sure I say all the names here. Where is it? I can't even talk. Justin Gilbert was one. Johnny Manziel was our second. The only thing that made this, I should say, maybe this isn't the worst because two of these names are Browns. They'll probably be in the Ring of Honor. Joel Bitonio. I'm not gonna lie, he's in my 5 best drafts picks. And Christian Kirksey. That almost redeems those first 2 flop picks. But then you go with Terrence West and Pierre Desir, which that kid was out of Linwood. And at that time, everybody was like super excited about him. But 2012, Trent Richardson and Brandon Whedon. Those two, there we go again. How is it that 2 of my guys, like on 2 separate ones, are part of both draft classes? Trent Richardson, Brandon Whedon. Mitchell Schwartz, we end up losing him to Kansas City. That went over real well. Travis Benjamin was maybe a decent pick and that good returner for us for a while. But outside of that, I'm looking at like maybe Billy Wynn, who was a D tackle. And this 2011 draft class I was looking at as well is just as bad, I think. Phil Taylor. Ugh, that did not work out. Baylor. There's another. Whoever our guy that was drafting was just like stuck down in Texas. Didn't get outside of it. He was just all about it. He's like, Texas A&M, let's draft guys from there. Let's draft guys from Baylor. We're not sure. We're supposed to like actually go around and see these players. I've been sitting on like my couch watching television, making draft selections that way. Jabal Sheard, you could probably give him a little love. Greg Little, I know nobody's going to give him any love. Dropped way too many balls. Jordan Cameron was a tight end that everybody kind of got behind. It was excited about him for a while. Buster Screen. How many times have you heard people scream that name during a game? Yeah, that's a rough class. So those would be the 3 that I would simply say. Now, as far as my top 5 picks of all time, what does Katie say? This list makes me infinitely grateful for. No lie. I'm telling you, they're going to build a statue of that man. They're going to build a statue of that man. Okay? I agree. Top 5 in this exact order. Number 1, plain and simple, Joe Thomas. It's Joe Thomas any day, all day, every day. Love it. Number 2, Myles Garrett. How do you not? 3, Joe Hayden. Loved when they got him. Loved him. Joel Bitonio mentioned earlier. Now, here's where everybody's going to make fun of me. They're going to be like, why is Tim Couch on there? I am a firm believer. When we drafted Tim Couch, he was a can't-miss prospect. I still feel that way. He got such a raw deal that when I was looking at pictures, you couldn't find one of a defensive player not hanging on him. That man ran for his life. We ruined his career. Do you realize if we would have drafted Peyton Manning, we'd have ruined his career? We had nothing in place. We were drafting skilled players with no offensive linemen. None. No running game. Nobody to pass the ball to. Okay? He didn't have anybody to pass the ball to. We got Braylon Stonewall Edwards out of Michigan who could catch any ball that was like, if there was a ball that was thrown, he had to do a 360 and do a cartwheel and grab it with one hand, Braylon Edwards would catch it. If Braylon Edwards ran a 5-yard hitch and turned around and nobody was in the vicinity of him, he dropped the ball. That's why I knock on Braylon Edwards. Has nothing to do with him being from Michigan. It's that for some reason he dropped all the easy passes. Like, I need you to be a possession receiver, especially when I'm taking you in the first round. Okay? Plain and simple. We totally got him killed. He had no line. But he did marry Heather Kozar, so he did win in the end. Yeah. Yeah, that is one. I was thinking this too. Did Jordan Cameron, the tight end, somebody answer me this and look this up. I probably shouldn't even say, did he marry Tiger Woods' wife? Or did I completely have names mixed up? I could have sworn over the weekend I heard that that's who she married. And I saw the name and I was like, oh my God, was that the old Browns tight end? And when I was reading off these draft picks and going through them, I saw his name and it reminded me. Actually, my son had his number 84 jersey back in the day. So when they had that preseason inter-squad scrimmage down there at Akron U, they need to bring that back. That would be something too to really get people excited. It's just moving it around. I liked how they were moving around. I think when they were playing it down at the Horseshoe, stuff like that. Fact check. Yes, I was correct. Okay. See, there it is. See, Google is up here. This is all Google. Okay. Didn't even need to fact check, just useless knowledge floating around up in there. So the draft, excited to watch it tonight. No pick for the Browns, supposedly. Now, there's chances, there's chatter, there's always conversation of trades happening. So it got me kind of thinking, where did I put it? I don't think I think I left a piece of paper down there. So I'm going to do this off my memory of how it went, and I'm going to cheat by looking over here. I had wrote down my idea of the first 10 picks. Okay, so I'm going to go on record, and I'm going to say my first 10 picks. Chicago is going to get it completely wrong at number 1. They're going to take Caleb Williams. I say that because it has nothing to do with the talent. Athletically, it has to do with the demeanor. I've never, ever, ever seen a player that isn't drafted yet speak this much and demand this much. It absolutely confuses me. I have no idea how anybody in a high profile position could look and say, yeah, he doesn't seem like he's going to be a cancer. I'm sorry. I'm just going to go on. I just think that he is. I hope I'm completely wrong. Has nothing to do with his athletic ability. It has to do with how you carry yourself. You know how many people get jobs just because of how they present themselves and then have to learn that work ethic? Okay. So it's presentation. His presentation to me off the rip. Wow. For a first overall pick, that's been a consensus number 1 pick for 2 years. I mean, just shut up and enjoy it and just know that you're going to kill it in the league and do a great job. There's absolutely no reason to go on some of these little tangents this kid's been doing. I don't get it. I don't understand it, but whatever. Number 2, I got Washington taking Jaden Daniels, even though I think Jaden Daniels, if you really want to take a quarterback, Chicago, I think that's the best quarterback in this draft personally is Jaden Daniels. Drake May, because everybody's quoted him going to New England. Do you realize he went to the same school as Mitchell Trubisky? I'm sorry. As a person that would be drafting and going around scouting, I would take that into consideration. That's the same. Sam Howell. Sam Howell just got traded from the Commanders. So, but it's not like North Carolina is putting out these quarterbacks. They're like, oh, wow. I just feel like people talked that name all the way up to the top 3. Here's the guy who should be the first overall pick. Can't miss, hands down. Has nothing to do with me being a Buckeye nut because he's that good. And he comes from NFL pedigree parent. Marvin Harrison Jr. is going to wreck this league. The only thing that kind of stinks is he's going to go out to Arizona. And they've got this Kyle Murray situation going on, and we're going to see how that transpires over the next year, 2 years. But I really don't know how long Kyler Murray sticks around there, especially when you have a talent like Marvin Harrison. I think this next team, the Chargers, I was thinking of Jim Harbaugh and instantly went to Chicago. The Chargers, I think Harbaugh has purposely been talking about quarterbacks and JJ McCarthy to try to push those guys up, because what I think he's trying to do is he's trying to get somebody to trade into that Arizona pick and have Marvin Harrison. I think if Marvin Harrison drops to Harbaugh at 5, he stays put. But my bold prediction is that the Chargers trade out of 5. Okay. Even though if they stayed put, so I guess I'm trying to cover all my ends here. If hypothetically they stay put, even though I'm saying there's going to be a trade, I think it's going to be Joe Alt, the offensive tackle out of Notre Dame. Got to get somebody in there to protect Herbert. At the Giants going on to number 6, it's Malik Neighbors. They like him a lot. They're really high on him. It's definitely a wide receiver, even though I feel like that Rome Udunza or Udeza, the kid out of Washington, wide receiver. I know I'm butchering his name. They need a receiver there in New York, but it's more likely going to be Malik Neighbors. At number 7, the Tennessee Titans, my pick is they're going to get an offensive tackle. They have been struggle busting it with offensive linemen for years to come. So I'm going with the Talise Fuga kid out of Oregon State. Big 6'6" kid. He's huge, like 325 or something like that. That's nuts. Okay. I mean, just even saying that, he could block me just by looking at his statistics. I want nothing to do with that. That is huge. Number 8, Falcons. Totally sitting there, and they're going to end up taking, I'm thinking, Dallas Turner, the kid out of Alabama, edge rusher. Now back to Chicago. This is where it gets interesting because people were talking they could still end up landing the receiver. Now the Roma Duze kid could still be there. I just don't see that happening. I really, really don't. I think they've got to get a lineman in there to be able to potentially help them out. So I've got them taking the kid out of Penn State, Alunwa Washuna. Another kid. There's another butcher name that I can't say. Penn State offensive tackle, another 6'6", 312, though. Wow. My goodness. So wrapping up the top 10, the Jets, okay, and Aaron Rodgers. And what is Aaron Rodgers like? Aaron Rodgers likes tight ends, and I think that's where the Brock Bowers kid comes into play from Georgia. I see the Jets taking him. Rodgers has absolutely no complaints, nothing to complain about in New York. He has all the pieces, all the weapons. They've gotten him everything. And the Jets finished second in the division, okay, because Father Time was catching up to Aaron Rodgers, even though it's been fun to watch him. As for the Browns, I was checking around, trying to figure out how could I do this. There's a ton of mock drafts out there. There's no way, shape, or form I'm even going to act like I know what I'm talking about past the 3rd, 4th round of saying, I think this is who the Browns need. We had put up here, as you could see, we talked about it last show, and even 330 says, we need an offensive line, wide receiver, running back, linebacker, no particular order, all depth. Absolutely. So my thought pattern was, man, I totally left that whole piece of paper down there. I had this piece of paper with all these notes on it, and I totally, you guys are watching it right on air live, totally unprepared, missing some notes. Man, the kid out of Ohio State. Oh gosh, give me one sec. I don't want to see now. Let's see here. I had him taking the kid out of Ohio State. I liked him. He was, gosh bless him. What's his name? Hall? Was it Hall? I think that's who my bold prediction was that they took him, and I can't even remember his name, so it doesn't even sound like a bold prediction right now. It just sounds like me making up something. I'm pretty sure it was the Hall kid out of Ohio State, defensive tackle. That's who I kind of had the Browns taking in the 2nd round with their 1st overall pick. So everyone else been talking about all these quarterbacks. There's going to could be 4 quarterbacks in the first 10 picks. I don't have that. I have 3. But my other bold prediction is there's only going to be 3 in the 1st round. I don't think McCarthy goes in, or somebody could totally come up and get him, or maybe that Drake May, New England does something. My bold prediction is 3 quarterbacks only get taken in the 1st round. Period, point blank. And the other one is that there's 4 trades. I think that it's going to be a night of trades. So I'm hopeful that the Browns are one of them, and somehow they can sneak into the 1st round and they pick up one of those needs that we've talked about for depth. You never know. Andrew Berry, he's a magician. This guy's been pulling rabbits out of hats for years. And he showed us again this offseason as he continues to maneuver through there. And you know that once they get into past the draft and they get into preseason, he's always good about pulling out a trade or picking up somebody then as well. So I don't even want to mention the Cavs because I don't want to see Hank jump back on here and tell me to start ranting again. But tonight, Cavs taking on the Magic. Let's go, Cavs. I'll be excited to see what happened on ESPN tomorrow morning. or I'll be checking my box scores all evening because nobody sent me any link to watch the game. So, gosh, I'm disappointed. But nevertheless, guys, thank you so much for always joining in. Come back. Going to be a little bit of some announcements going on today, I'm hearing. There's this chatter around the war room of 330. There's this idea of these big announcements coming out. And then also Sam Amico is going to get on. He'll be talking all the Cavs. If you didn't get anything with me, go ahead, jump on. He'll wrap you guys all the way up. Come back Monday. You know the whole routine. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. We have things going on every day here at 330 to go. And we're always happy to bring you guys the latest news that we can. We try to do our best, and we appreciate you guys for supporting us, being a part of it, commenting, liking, all the above. I appreciate you guys. Back here again Tuesday morning, and I will see you at 9 a.m. then. Till then, guys, have a great weekend. Get outside. Enjoy the weather. Have a good one.